Right, I think I'm live. Lastminute.com there. I think I'm on. Let me just double check. Yeah, looks like I am. Okay, let's see if I can view. Yeah, brilliant. Welcome, Sean. Can you see me? This is the thing. Can you see me? And am I the right way round? I've not done a scheduled one before, so hopefully we're all okay. So Sean, can you see me okay? Can you hear me? See me, hear me? Yeah. Hi, Tony. Yeah, bro. Okay, well, this is Tony's Paul on radios here, look. Anyway, first of all, quick introduction. Welcome to the channel. Hi, Chris. So my channel's mainly about fixing or repairing, restoring old radios, mainly transistor stuff, but I do dabble with other bits and pieces, all sorts of stuff really. So usually if anyone's got any electronic gear that's busted, excuse me, I get to see it. This is the second ever live stream, so you know, the first one was okay. I looked back through it and it seemed to come out okay, so fingers crossed this one will be an improvement, as before we were reversed. So hopefully you can see that the letter in the correct way round on the clock this time. What's that? Just only comment away from the live stream. Okay, right, fair enough. Anyway, so yeah, the other thing to check, it did default to 720p instead of full 1080 last week. I've hopefully sorted that, but not guaranteed. Fingers crossed, all's going well. So, what have I been up to this last week? My back, as I said last week, was pretty shot. It is improving. Last week was my first week back doing the photography job, so you know, I had a lot of work to do actually last week, so I didn't really get a chance to do hardly any radio work last week. I did have another go at the Sharrock. That's coming on. It is working now, but still can't get the airband working. We've also got a video up. Sorry, we've also got a mini run coming through the village in about 15 minutes. It happens every year on the Sunday of the bank holiday weekend, and literally hundreds and hundreds of minis come through the village, and I've got my missus geared up with a video camera for that one today. So I did put some video footage of it out there, I think a couple of years ago. Didn't do anything last year, but it's horrible weather here in the UK at the moment. I don't know if other parts of the UK are okay, but it's rubbish here. So what's happening with the channel at the moment? As I say, I did reach 1,000 subscribers. If anyone's just tuned in and didn't realize that, yeah, I'm up to nearly 1,200 now, which is brilliant. I've finished the series on the R707 now that went over to France. That's all done and dusted, so hopefully you enjoyed that. The Yaesu 2-meter FT1500 transceiver that I put a new encoder in. You've seen part 1, hopefully. If not, catch up with it. Part 2 I'm currently editing, because unfortunately I left the camera going for forever, and it's got about 6 gigabytes of just a picture of the bench with nothing happening. So I've got to edit all that out. So Patreon as well. Patreon's still going strong. I've got a few patrons that are been loyal and are subscribing to me on Patreon. Unfortunately, I've had a couple patrons passed away. Richard Proctor, lovely chap, really nice bloke, good friend as well. Unfortunately passed away this year, and unfortunately last year my mum passed away. So that's 2 of my biggest fans gone, unfortunately. I mean, the other thing I was going to ask is, I know a couple people have said that Patreon's not the easiest interface in order to make payments, so I just wonder whether if people just wanted a link for PayPal if they wanted to support the channel, it's an option. As I say, I'm not looking to make a fortune out of my subscribers at all. It just helps me with consumables and bits and pieces that I don't charge people for, and also it helps towards me making videos. I mean, this camera setup is pretty shocking at the moment, so I'm gonna have to look at a decent live stream camera if this is something that people still want to go. My chat's timed out again, so let's pop that on. Hi East Finn, welcome again. I think you joined me last week. It doesn't really tell me this how many's in chat, but again, I can't see the phone this time because I got it flipped around the other way, so I'm just really looking. I've got myself on here. Let's go live. All right, yeah, you can see me. That's good. That's a bit scary. Anyway, what I'll hopefully do in a bit when we start looking at these radios is I should, now that I've got the camera facing the other way around, be able to zoom in. So you'll have to bear with me for a couple minutes while I get back to the phone and mess about with it to get us in a little bit closer on these. So up and coming videos then. I've got loads and loads of videos stored up that I've taken over the past year, really. I know someone commented recently that the video was over a year old, and they hoped that the repair that I'd done had got to the customer by now. And literally, as I finish repairing them, and I'm sure Tony will agree with this, they get them back pretty much as soon as they're done. I don't hang about. As soon as the payment comes through, that's it. They're off in the post pretty much straight away. So if you beeping and weird and wonderful noises, people shouting and clapping, that's the mini run outside. So yeah, so upcoming videos, I've got the FT1500M amateur 2-meter transceiver. The customer gave me the go-ahead, luckily, to actually repair that shocking power lead. And when you see what I uncovered, and when I took the tape off, you really won't believe it. I've done a load of videos of other stuff that Tony sent me. I've got probably about 8 pocket radios that I've got videos on. Also, I did a Sony SW77 recap, and I think that was Tony's as well. Is that yours, Tony? Was yours the SW77? Well, a lot of people have asked for that video. Few people know that I've actually done that video, so it's all surface mount caps. So I must get that one out there. And also, I've still got that Hoover battery replacement to do. So today's video then, and it's great that Tony's actually joined me in the room because he can confirm everything I say now. Basically, I think Tony goes over to the US quite regularly, and he collects these pocket radios, and I think he comes back with a suitcase full of the things. He certainly gives me a fair few to repair. So this is all of Tony's radios that he's brought back from the States that I've got here today. Well, actually, one is mine, which we'll go into in a minute. So what I'm hoping to do is unwrap and test all of these radios. And then if we got time, and I don't know what I've got time there, so I think we should have time to see if we can fix one of the ones that isn't working. And it would be good actually if you chose the one that you want me to look at, because there's some lovely little radios in here. I have had a quick peek just to make sure that nothing's damaged, and Tony, they're not damaged, so that's good, mate. Brilliant stuff. Nice bit of wrapping. Right, so what I'll do then, I'll just go to the other side of the camera a minute and zoom in so as you can see a bit more clearly on the desk, so bear with me. Hopefully it'll zoom. Going down. Will it zoom in? Oh, yes. Look at that. Wow. Okay. So you'll have to let me know. Hopefully my phone won't drop out the holder. That would be interesting. You'll have to let me know whether I'm too close or too far away. I can sort of monitor it myself a little bit. But, yeah, that's good. You can't see me anymore. All right. Oh, let's mute that a minute. A little bit. Right, there we go. So let's get this one open first then. Nice nice job on the bubble wrap there as well, Tony. It looks like it's logged me in as myself for some reason. Anyway, here we go. This is the first one. Now, I've already repaired one of these for Tony. This is Zenith. I've got little notes here. It's a Zenith Royal 16. It's known as the Billfold because it basically opens up like, well, I think we call them wallets over here. I'm not sure what they're called in the States. All these radios are from the US. Now, I actually repaired. In fact, I ended up in the end repairing two of these for Tony. One exactly the same as this, which I absolutely loved. There was a problem with the rotary volume pot on-off switch on it. So I thought I was going to have to steal one. He did have another radio, so I thought I might have to steal one. But luckily, he sent me the other radio to rob the volume pot out of, but I managed to get some from China in the end. So they are available. Now, they call this a Billfold because it's like a wallet. It opens up. So click that out. And there we go. There, I think the thing that caught my eye on this was the pattern that they've managed to sort of stencil on the front there. I'm sure you can see that shining in the light. It's like a floral pattern, but I just thought it looked really lovely. And the little green butterfly on the front. As I say, this radio dates from around about 1965, so it's not quite as old as me, but nearly. So I think what I'll do is, shall I unwrap them all and then at the end try them, or should I test them one at a time? Let's unwrap them all first, I think. It gets all this bubble wrap out of the way. Just have a quick swig of throat clearer. Right, on to number two then. Yeah, Sean, I don't know. I do like these. And they're available in different colours. I know Tony's got a black one of these. Marketed for a lady? Could be. I'm really not sure. But, anyway, the next one. This is a Philco, so it says on the bottom. Looks like it's got its original. I don't know if it is the original earplug. Yeah, look at that. Wow. So that is the original earplug. I won't go poking around that too much. You never know where it's been, do you? So that's nice to have. So it's got its original leather case as well, and it looks like it is actually leather. Yeah, it's leather. So let's have a look. Now this is a Philco 6 transistor. T68 this is. BK, I assume that stands for black. I have had a quick look on the internet and can't find any service info for this whatsoever, I don't think. Can I? No, yes I can. No, that's a lie. T68. I did manage to find some stuff on the Radio Museum. Anybody that's not in the Radio Museum, I strongly recommend it. Highly recommend it. So there's my schematic for it, which is going to come in useful, hopefully. And it's actually got a layout as well, which is more than a lot of them have. So yeah, it feels like it's a metal front, which is quite nice. Plastic back. It's got a little pocket clip on the back by the looks of it. Hi Ryan from Australia. It's pretty late over there, mate, isn't it? I think it's, I think you're 5 hours. Oh, I don't know, maybe that's a little stand. That's a little stand. Yeah, I think you're 5 hours behind us, Ryan, aren't you? In front of us. That's right. Because I did get a message from Wenlock DX TV, or Wenlock TV DX last night asking what time. I think it's 10:30 in the evening over in Australia. Maybe you confirm that. So there we go. That's a little Philco. It says 6 transistors. And that one is from probably the same era. I mean, I've got the original advert for it here. It doesn't really say what age it is, but it does say Philco is a subsidiary of the Ford Motor Company. Right, so that's a little Philco T68, again in really nice condition. Oh, 10:47, Ryan. That is pretty late, isn't it? Oh, well done for staying up, mate. Thanks for joining us. Oh, right. Next up then. Okay, well this is a Magnavox. Again, I have not been able to find a manual for this. The only place I can find a manual listed is Sam's, and they want $15 for it, which is not the end of the world. But to be fair, this is made in the US again. Magnavox. I did Google them. I think they were one of the original inventors of the moving coil speaker, I believe. I think they were founded about 1911. That's just off the top of my head, eh? What a memory. So let's get this one out and have a look. The case is in absolutely great condition. Needs a bit of a clean up, but I'm sure Tony will manage that. It's quite nice because the case actually folds outwards. So there we are. Medium wave only radio, which is the same as the others. Tune in. Yeah, I think as Tony said that the volume control is a little bit loose on this one. So it looks probably just a little screw on it. So yeah, it goes from 54, this is kilohertz I believe, 54 kilohertz through to kilocycles, same thing, to 160. So yeah, I think that's going to be the same sort of era again, whether Tony can confirm that, but I think the issue with that one is the volume control, but we'll maybe have a look at that one later, up to you. So we've got 11 people watching. Don't be shy, drop in and say hello on the chat if you would. Right, what have we got out here? I'm getting a little bit backed up now. Tony will realise the one that I'm saving till last. Okay, so we've got another little Zenith. Not quite a Billfold, much bigger. I mean, you can see the size of that. It is a fair bit bigger. That's a bit more of a lumpy pocket radio. You need a big shirt pocket for one of those, wouldn't you? Right, let's have a look then. Okay, this is a bit more interesting, isn't it? Because we've now got FM and AM. It's a Zenith FM AM, and it is a Zenith Royal B21. Again, I can't find any info on it apart from inside. Apparently, there is a schematic in the back of this panel somewhere. So again, that I think is 1965, so slightly younger than me. Oh, hi Rob from Exeter. I used to live in Exeter actually. In fact, my brother still lives there, and my mum used to live there. So yeah, welcome from Exeter, Rob. AM amplitudes, this is Sean, AM amplitude, same as medium wave. I must look up what the letters mean on VHF, FM. Yeah, VHF is very high frequency, FM is frequency modulation, LW is just long wave, AM is amplitude modulation, and MW is medium wave. And I think the Germans radios are UKW, I think, for FM, and there is a word for that, but I can't pronounce it. So there we go. So yeah, that's a nice little radio, again in really good condition. You'd think, wouldn't you, that this little tiny bit of plastic that forms the hinge would mean that's long gone, but again, really good condition. So well done, Tony, on finding that one. So let's have a look at the final radio then. And this is my particular favourite. I don't know about you, but again, I don't know whether any of these radios are working yet. There we go. What about that for a radio then? So this is, and it confirms it on the front. I don't know if you can see that or not, but it's 1964 written on the front. It's a Ford Thunderbird. You'd think it's a model. It really is. I mean, the detail, you know, if you look at the rear lights, even the little chrome symbol in the lights is there. The detail is immaculate on it. Lovely little toy car, isn't it? You think, but if we have a look underneath, we can see off Philco and a tuning dial. It is really cool, Sean, and I mean the detail on it's amazing. I mean the wheels, they got rubber tires on them, actual rubber. They run. It's almost, you'd almost think that you'd have a motor in here and it would run as well as being a radio. You'd drive your radio around then, couldn't you? So it says Philco Corp, subsidiary of Ford Motor Company, a model NT11. And if you're wondering where the speaker is, well, I don't know if you can see this through the window. Hopefully you can. Again, it's difficult to show you because I can't monitor my own feed, but in through the windows is the speaker. Again, there's no service information out there on this. Nothing at all. Yes, we did suffer a little bit, Rob, with pocket radios over here. We never had anything like the selection that they had over in the States. I think that's probably why Rob collects these. But yeah. Let me just see. As you mentioned Jonathan Hill there. It's yeah, Radio Geek, very welcome. That is the story behind these. I think they were given away to dealers, or dealers gave them away. Certainly, that's what they were. They were promotional radios for that model, and I think there's 1965 and a 1966 as well. If you look on eBay, there's a few in the States still. But yeah, thanks Radio Geek for reminding me on that. But yeah, I'm not sure whether they were given to the garages as promotions or whether the garages gave them to customers for promotional. I don't know. So let's a drop of the throat lubrication. And shall we put some power on these radios? What do you think? Let's see if we can. It's a should we try this one first? Let's get some power on this first, shall we? So it looks like it's got a 9-volt battery tab. Power them up, Sean, yeah. Get some power on them. Right, I'm reluctant to put that one down actually. Let's we gently put that one on its back. Let's get some power leads. I'm assuming it's 9 volts, but I'm going to start it. Let's start it on 7. Set the current limit down really low. Apologies for it being upside down, but this is where the business end is. Let me get my chat back on. iPad keeps timing out. Oh, it's a bit deaf, Tony, is it? All right. Yeah. Spoiler. Spoiler alert. Okay, let's put some power on it then. So, here we go. I would say it's more than a bit deaf, Tony. So it's only drawing 10 milliamps at the moment, so I'm going to put 9 volts on it. Hang on, watch out for the copyright. Yeah, Jonathan Hill, Rob. It's he is the author of Radio. Again, if anybody's wondering what Radio is, it's a large, it's bigger than A4. It's a large book, and it covers basically up until the transistor era of radios. It does talk about transistor radios, but it's mainly valve radios. Well worth picking up a copy of Radio by Jonathan Hill. I think, am I right, Rob, that Jonathan Hill was from Devon? I think he was, because I know the book that I've got, it's actually got his signature in it. He signed my book, so I can't find it at the moment though. I must look it up. It had a 9-volt battery in it, didn't it? Well, it is. Okay, well, the audio's distorted. No, I think it's less than 8 seconds, Sean. If their algorithm can pick it up, or whatever bit of kit they use, if they pick up a tune that it recognises, then you'll get a copyright hit on it. That sounds like BBC Radio Wales, which is good for reception-wise, actually. Yeah, true, Radio Geek. I don't think they could. But that is distorted and it's really quiet. So I'm going to turn that off. So it's picking up. The volume is really low. That was on maximum volume, and you could just hear it. So that is actually, it's going to be the capacitors in the audio circuit. So that's going to need new caps. I know it's a bit of a cliche, recap it and it'll work, but you know, on most of these old American portable radios, it's 90% the batteries. Occasionally you get a transistor. These are all made in Japan, by the way, I think. Yeah, chassis made in Japan. That doesn't say, but I'm pretty sure that's made in Japan. I think you'll find that all of these are made in Japan. Oh, Rob, I don't think all your chat's coming up, Rob. Oh, I see what you're saying. Gordon Busey in your travels have got a copy of Hacker Radio History. So yeah, the idea on this Radio Geek is we'll pick one of these 5 radios to actually repair live. So if that's the one that you want to fix up, then that's on the list. So on to the next one then. Let's get the Zenith FM/AM out. Let's have a look at the connections on that. So again, we've got 9 volts. Should be able to connect that up the right way round. So let me think here. Let me make sure I don't get it the wrong way round. That's a positive. We don't want to blow any radios up live, really, ideally. Yeah, that is a lovely Radio Geek. I'm not sure your name, so I'll just call you Radio Geek. I do really like that. In fact, I would be quite happy to own one of those. Incidentally, the radio, as I say, that I've got over there, the Zenith Raw 16, Tony got me that one. I didn't ask for it. Yeah, it is a Thunderbird. It's written right the way across the front there, if you can see that. You know, they've even written Thunderbird across the front, and it's also on the side there as well, look. And on the back bumper, on the chrome groove part. I think Tony is looking to repaint this one. Right, so let's get some power on this one. Okay, we've got a bit of hiss on FM. I think the issue with this one is going to be it needs an external aerial. Let's have a look. Has it got anywhere for an aerial? No. Well, we'll have to have a look inside that one. Hi Simon, welcome mate. And Paul Craddock. Just watched your video last night, Simon, on the Bamford, is it? Bamford engine. So well done on getting that one going, mate. I haven't had a chance to put a comment on that yet, but I will do. Paul's asking, he's got a Sony ICF 7600, which has stopped powering on, pressing the on-off switch a few times. You get it to turn on, but not now. Any quick ideas what to look for? Oh God. Those Sonys, I mean, you've seen the videos I did on the ICF 2001D. They're a bit of a nightmare to work on. It could just be a dodgy switch there, Paul. I mean, it could be a number of things. It could be a dodgy crystal in it, so it's going out of lock. Are you saying it's not, the display's not coming up, or you're just not hearing it? You let me know. Is it the display not coming on, or is it coming on but you just can't hear anything until you push it a few times? Yeah, I see what you're saying. It certainly, if I hold my hand.
Supervised wilderness. We don't have manicured gardens We try to leave things as natural as possible. We encourage the fauna and the flora. We've actually planted 29 species of wildflower. Who actually does the work?
Yeah, really not sure on that.
We have about 60 or 70 friends, but the work is done by, let's say, about 15 or 20. It's an absolute credit to you. And
Yeah,
the hard
it
work.
Seems that the
Meanwhile, just a short stroll from the end.
FM aerial must be built in here somewhere. We'll have a look at that at some stage. Let's try AM.
In fifth position, overlooked Roman Grosjean a little bit, and all the Red Bull struggling and all of that.
On the top ridge, there are lakes.
Well, you know that. You can hear the minis going past now, can you? Racket. Our dogs are loving it as well, by the looks of it. Nothing shows, Paul. Yeah, so it's got probably be a problem with the power switch itself. And the issue you got with that Sony stuff is you cannot get original Sony parts for them at all. You just can't get them. Yeah, I saw your video on that copyright thing, Simon, with the slow speed on the tape. You're very, very clever. Anyway, I mean, this radio is actually working. So this, I mean, I can get it out, have a look at it, Tony, and check the caps out. But that one is actually working. Sounds good. Maybe just check the FM out, see if there is an aerial or something we can do to it. Hi Mark, welcome mate. Nice to have you on board. Right, let's get the Magnavox out. So it looks like we've got to open this one up. So yeah, it's an AM84, very nice. It's had a bit of battery leakage again, unfortunately. It is unfortunate with these. Which one, Simon? That one, the Zenith? Or are you looking at this other Zenith here? So it's a much lighter beige, but that's actually my radio, so Tony's picked that up for me specifically, which is nice. So it looks like this is a 9-volt. So I think this is the one that Tony said he put a temporary battery terminal on just to test it. So let's just put a bit of tape around that a minute first. Hi Nazar. Hi Radio Good Band 3. Yeah, Paul, as I say, you know, you're welcome to send it out to me if you want me to have a look at it. But you know, a lot of the time the only way to repair some of them old Sony radios is to buy a non-worker and rob it apart. So I know it's sort of sacrilege, but if it's original bits, then they just ain't available. The trouble is Sony made a lot of their own stuff as well. They didn't make generic bits and pieces that fit loads of radios. So you know the trouble I had getting them in crystal. Right. Okay, so that's ready to go. I've just taped up those connections for a minute. We can use it on those. It's not a problem. I know for a fact though that these old, they're like a violet coloured capacitor. They're usually problematic. Normally got to change those, so we'll see. Look at the racket. Can anyone hear that lot going through outside? Oh yeah, Nazo, yeah, it's one band. That's a single band radio, the old one. This is single band AM as well. It's all the medium wave, what we call the medium wave band here. Right, so let's get some power on this one as well. Positive. It's a positive. It's a negative. Okay, let's turn this one on, see what happens. Okay, that one's dead. Yeah, this one is dead, I think. It's drawing 50 milliamps, which is too much for one of these. They normally draw about say 10 to 30 milliamps. This one's drawing 50, so that's a possible transistor issue, although there is noise coming from it, so I think the audio side of it's working, but I would think one of these capacitors has gone. There's no sign of it, but it could, it won't be those transistors, the outputs, they're nice. But these are a little bit unreliable, these transistors. Again, I don't think, no, there's no information on this radio, so I'll have to go. I mean, this one's moving from left to right, the RF's coming in here, it's going through the IF amplifiers out into the audio transformers and out to the speaker, so it works from left to right, this one. Some little trimmers up there for probably long wave. There's nothing really in there that I can see that's blown as such. Never usually is. But we can have a probe around and see if we can find a signal in it worth it. Try tapping it, Shunya. Yeah, this has got Japanese transistors in it which don't suffer from that tin whisker issue that our lovely Mullard ones do. I don't think the US used any of our Mullard transistors, luckily, although they might have done. I know NASA tested them, so for NASA to test them, I suppose they must have been in something. So anyway, the nice little Magnavox is a non-worker, which is a shame, but I'm sure that it's not much. BC-DC now, sir. BC. These are so far all 9-volt radios. So we know that the Zenith Royal R21, wasn't that? B21. That one's working. The Philco Thunderbird car radio works, but low volume and distorted. The Magnavox doesn't work at all. So let's move on to this little Philco T68. So this looks like a bit there, eases off. It's another 9-volt radio. 0.1 of a watt, look. So that's hey, hi George, Shango in North Devon, eh? No, don't touch none of that high voltage stuff, mate. None of that high voltage stuff. Welcome, George. Anyway, nice to see you, mate. So let me think. I've got to remember the battery way again. So that's the negative. The North Devon Shango, eh? That's actually, I would class that as a compliment, actually. I like Shango's channel. Okay, so this looks like it's got a dual switch on the side with two separate sliders. So that's obviously the volume, and the other one's the tuning. So let's pop it on. Ah, we have noise. Now that one's trying to receive, but not very well. There is a station there. Well, you can hear it, but it's so we've got plenty of volume there, but it's lacking sensitivity. So that could be something in the IF stage, probably IF not transform, IF. Let's have a look here. It could be capacitors in the IF, or it could be it just needs a line in, or it could be a transistor that's gone bad. There's two IF stages in it by the looks of it. TR2, TR3, looks like 2SA, I can't read that, 51 possibly. So yeah, little Philco then, T68. Again, I think capacitors is the name of the game on that one as well. Bit of a cliche, I know, but although the Japanese transistors are pretty reliable, their capacitors weren't, in my experience anyway. So last of all then, this is my little Zenith. Thank you, Tony, for this one. Yeah, definitely. Rob, you're in my area next week. Any thoughts on the hacker offer? Mailed me today. I've not checked my email yet, Rob. So yeah, I'll have a look through that later and drop you an email back. Again, anybody wants to email me, all my email details are in YouTube. If you go to my channel, it's basically graham@radiocruncher.com. Signal tracer is definitely going to come out, George. But what we've got to try and work out in a minute is which one we want to work on, because we're getting on, well, we're 45 minutes in now already, so I don't want to drag it on too long. So I will look and we'll see if we can get one of these sorted. So this is my little Zenith. So Tony picked this one up for me. Didn't ask him for it. So thanks a lot again, Tony, if you're still with us. These are a little bit tricky to get out of the case. So you got to undo the screw in the back, and then the body snaps out, which is always pretty scary. So that is just the cover. This is your radio. So as Tony quite rightly pointed out, this has got corroded battery terminals. What I tend to do with those is just get a little paintbrush and cover them in some vinegar. That gets rid of this green stuff. Unfortunately, this one's a bit worse for wear. It's got rust on that one, so I'm going to need to probably get a wire brush or something on that. Kobe Toshiba Nazar. I think you want about the founder of Toshiba. Go close up at the front, Simon. Of course you can. So it's got like a stencil in metallic on it. I don't know if you can see that. I'm sort of monitoring my own stream, but I'm lagging way behind. Yeah, hopefully you can see that, Simon. If you want to get any closer, that's Zenith Royal 16. Lovely little radios. I like these. And that's the case if anyone wants to see that. The inside gives you the serial number and the model. So, right, let's get this one, get some power on here. I've got to try and remember which way around these go because these are wired strange as well. In fact, actually, this is... Certainly don't want 9 volts on this. This is a 3 volt radio. Let's have a look. Double check. Yes, it's a 3 volt radio, this one. So don't expect any huge noises out of it, but they are pretty good. So remember which way round I've got to put the power. So I think from memory it's that one there and that one there. Come on, stay with us. Where's those? Yee-hee. Okay. Well, again, that is working. Not brilliantly, actually. And I remember taking the last one of these apart. These are a bit of a pig to get apart, actually. They will come apart, and it's, again, I'm going to need to change the capacitors. That should bring the sensitivity up. I also found last time that this needed, the last couple I did of these, they needed trimming. The IFs were quite a way out on them. But yeah, that's a nice little radio, so thanks again for picking that up for me, Tony. Brilliant stuff. Let's pop that one back. Well worth picking up, Simon. Nice little radio. Good looking radio. If you want a little Christmas present for the missus, then or for yourself even. Okay, so let's have a quick recap then. So we've got the Zenith R16 or Royal 16, that's these capacitors. We've got the Philco think that one was totally dead, wasn't it? Well, it wasn't totally dead, it's just very insensitive. The Zenith FM AM working fine, can't see any issues with that. It might just be a recap and then send it back. I'm not sure on that yet. We shall see. This one, the Ford Thunderbird Philco NT11, cracking little bit of kit that. Again, really distorted audio and very, very quiet, so that's definitely going to need audio capacitors done. And the Magnavox, again, I don't believe that was working, was it? So which will it be? Should we have a bit of a vote? I don't know how many people are on here. What do you think? Which one should we work on? Which one should we get apart? And Simon thinks Magnavox. That's what, one vote for Magnavox. Two votes for Magnavox. So Magnavox is winning so far. So Zenith. That's one of those two then, Sean. Come on, you got to pick. Royal 16 or the FM AM. There's nothing really to do with the FAM, I don't think. Apart from maybe go and recap it for Tony just to prolong its lifetime. So Magnavox, Zenith, one of those two. The Royal, they're both Royals. Sean, Royal 16 or Royal B21. Got a little Philco here on our Philco car radio. More lubrication. Oh, that one. So far then, Magnavox is in the lead. 2-1 against the Zenith. Any more? Magnavox, that's 3 Magnavoxes then. It's a nice looking radio, isn't it? It's got like a gold gleam to the grille as well. I thought it was all chrome, but there's a chrome strip runs through the middle and it's gold surround. And it's nice to fix something that actually isn't working. Good morning, Jack. Nice of you to join us, mate, over there in the States. Magnavox again. What we're doing, Jack, is we're just trying to select one of these to fix. Apart from the Zenith Royal B21 at the back, they've all got issues that need sorting. So far, the Magnavox is in the lead 3-1. 4-1. Yeah, it's looking like the Magnavox. Cheers, Chris. Hi, Robin, as well. Magnavox. Final answer. Magnavox. Final answer. Any more for any more? Right, Magnavox it is. Yeah, David wants a Magnavox as well. What's it about the Magnavox? Put these safely over out of the way. And let's get the Magnavox out of his case then. Car radio, Jack. That's it's a Philco NT11, a 1964 Ford Thunderbird radio. It's got a speaker in through the glass there. It's a real nice looking bit of kit. Very nice. Right, so let's pop this one out. Again, I'm going to stick my rubber mat there on that. If I can find out what I've just done with it. So, I know what you're doing. You've chosen this one because this is one of the ones that I've got no service info for. Okay. So let's connect it back up again. I will redo this. I will redo this power cable, battery snap, whatever you call it, PP3 snap. Let's get the power back on it. See if we can find a signal in it. Get it the right way around again. Oh, it is working. So we've certainly got noise in the amplifier stage, which is good. So let's get the signal tracer out, see if we can find anything, shall we? Let's put it this way because it'll block the camera out. Yeah. Okay, so what have we got? Well, that's going to be the oscillator probably. This is going to be the first IF. Nothing. Yeah, I mean, this is drawing too much current, really. There's nothing on the first, what I think's the first IF. No. Difficult to see where these wires go on this thing. That's got to be the on-off switch there. Yeah. Let's make sure we've got nothing on the headphone socket. Oh, hang on, we have. Got some RF there. Yes, I think the amplifier stage is working okay. It's the oscillator and IF. So let's just quickly fire up one of the scopes here. Again, sorry you're not going to be able to see this because it's out of shot. Yeah, the Magnavox, Simon, is an AM84, and I've got no circuit for it at all. Can't find one. I've looked on the internet. There's plenty of pictures of it, but no circuit. I think, is that one of the ones that Sam's had the circuit for? Yeah, I think the Magnavox, Sam's were listing it for $15, but so what I'm going to do here is just hook up to a negative with my scoop. Just have a quick probe of the oscillator, what I think's the oscillator. See if there's any signal coming off of it. Is that? Is that the oscillator? Definitely got something showing on the scope there, but let's see if it alters as we tune it. Yeah, it's altering a little bit. Okay. Right, that is dead as a dodo, that one, as far as dead as a dodo as far as the IF and oscillator side of it are. So we're going to have to get the thing out of the case now, aren't we? So yeah, it's going to be, you've got the AM60 Simon. Well, this is AM84, probably not much difference. Let's see if we can get it out the case. So it looks like it's got 3 screws. I think we've got one here, and one here. So let's get them out. Let's get a little pot for the bits. Because this could be the actual first transistor, which would be a pain because there's not much hope that I've got a replacement Japanese transistor to hand. Okay, are we loose? No, it looks like this has got to come out as well. This is the fixing point. Always a sneaky one, that is. They use those as fixings, but they also hold the radio chassis in. There we go. One chassis out. Okay. Just having a quick look, make sure we've got nothing obvious, no dry joints or anything hanging out. No, I wonder which one is the wiper. What we could try and do is to just inject a signal on the wiper just to make sure that the what am I going on about? What are you going on about, Graham? Just to make sure that the audio section is working. I'm pretty sure it is. One of these two is going to be the wiper, the blue or the white. I would guess the blue. So let's just stick a capacitor in that. I don't know if that will make a lot of difference, to be fair, but stop any RF going into it. Let's put my AF generator on. We don't want 100 millivolts into it. Let's just try 3 millivolts. No, that's the negative there, wasn't it? Bear with me, I'm just going to hook it back up again. volume control's really wobbly on that, so I'm just going to tweak that up a minute. I've certainly got some audio when I touch that. Let's right, see if we can find a negative on here anywhere. Let's go in there. So you can hear the audio there. It looks like the yellow's a wiper by the looks of it. Let's pop the level up a bit and you'll be able to hear it a bit better then. So the audio section is working as I thought. Just wonder if any of these capacitors are coupling. You'll have to bear with me in moments of silence, but you know, I'm making it up as I go along, obviously. Oh, cheers, Simon. Yeah, audio is good. Thanks, mate. Let's just go and grab this schematic from Simon. Thank you, Simon. Let's just get my inbox. Magnavox manual. Let's just download that from Simon. Might help us. So let's have a look. TR1. I expect it's exactly the same circuit, Simon, just maybe slightly different components. I don't know. Just put that power back off a minute. Let's get a magnifier in. So let's see if we can see which one that is. 2SA 160. Yeah. So Simon's Magnavox manual is good. Let's see if we can print that out a minute. Let's print that out, then we can have a look at that together. So yeah, certainly the oscillator is what I thought it was. So there's a capacitor on the base of TR2 which could be dragging the signal down to ground if it's shorted. That's a 10 microfarad C5. Well, it doesn't say where C5 is. It's got to be this one, I would have thought. 6 volt, 10 microfarad. I bet that's the one that's causing us the problems. Can I jumper that one out? trying to see if I can jumper that one out. I might be able to. Let's get a 10 microfarad. That's 400 volts. That's a bit over the top. Let's grab a 10 microfarad capacitor and have a look. So that'll be negative here, so that's going to be that way round across there. Okay, let's just no, that's not done anything. It's not suddenly sprung it into life like I was hoping. My scope off. But certainly if that one was shorted, it would be knocking the signal out, definitely. Not even sure if I was in the right place there. I think I was. Just going to grab that schematic off the printer a minute. This looks like it's at the radio and television servicing books. I didn't think of looking at those. I've got an index to them somewhere. So 6 transistor, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we've got 7 transistors. I think it was 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 2, 4, 6, 8 transistors. So it does differ slightly, but it looks like the initial's probably got another IF stage in this one, possibly. But I would assume that these two are the IF transformers here, and that's probably the first IF, and that's the second one. So that's a quick another probe around those two in a minute. Just make 100% sure that we're in the right area. Certainly that's the same oscillator circuit, I'm sure. Just trying to see where else the signal would disappear. Really, that C5 is the only one that could be an issue. Let's have a quick I mean, this may take too long, so we'll see. Okay. So looking at this circuit that Simon has very kindly sent through, I think possibly this one, although it doesn't look like it's got another IF stage, I suspect it's got another stage in the amplifier section. The detector there, well, I'm not getting anything before the detector, so it's probably coming back this way, still pointing to this oscillator circuit. Just wonder whether this transistor TR1 is actually gone. I think what I'll do is get C5 out and have a look at that one. So let's get the old noisy solder sucker out. Let's turn everything off. Disconnect everything. And we'll stick a new 10 microfarad capacitor in there, see if that's we'll have a look at the old one when it comes out first. So apologies in advance for the noise, you've all heard it going before. It's a nuisance, but it's what we got. It's better to have one that's noisy than not have one at all. Let's put them out of the way over there. Magnifier away. So it's looking like that one is in underneath here. Would be right by all the cables, wouldn't it? So the one we're looking at is this one here. Basically it's on the base of the first IF amplifier. So if this one's shorted, it will just push it all to ground. Got to be careful there, as the yellow one is yellow wire is very close to that, the white wire even. So let's have a go. Yeah, these wires are scarily close to it. The other one's down here, hopefully. So wiggle. Definitely that one. Okay, well these wires are a little bit too close, so I'm going to have to take these off so as I can get in there and desolder it. So let's just do a quick diagram. So that's got our white connected to it. Down here, it's got the blue connected to it. I think if I get the white and the blue out of the way, should be able to get it. Right. This could take hours. It could take hours. Okay, that's the blue. I can't take that long because I've got darts AGM tonight. Oh. That's the white. Okay. That should make life a bit easier. Let's quickly check the chat. Where are we? Double check for dry joint by waggling. Yeah, I could swamp it with 455, Simon. Yeah, solder sucker is a very useful bit of kit. Just see if I can lift that one with the soldering iron. I think the other connection is just here. Pretty sure that's the other one. Right, let's get the solder sucker back on then. Just going to also have a go at Simon's suggestion there in a minute. So we'll swamp it with 455 and see if we can push an IF signal through it. That would point us back to the oscillator stage then. That's one side of it. It must be here then. This is the other side of it now. I think that's it. So we need to be careful that we get this one the right way round. Because strangely enough, on these type capacitors, I'm going to pop this one straight back in place of it here a minute. So we can't come out. On these capacitors, most capacitors, the black is the negative. On these, the black is the positive. That nearly caught me out once, but so that's 10 microfarads at 6 volts. Let's put that on the ESR meter. Hopefully you can all see this. Apologies, but I cannot monitor the camera. I can tell you what it is, can I? Okay. What are we saying there? I think you can just about see that on the bottom of the screen by the looks of it. So let's pop that on and see if that indeed is kaput. There we go. So it's basically saying it's open circuit or low capacitance. In other words, it's too low for that meter to read it. It's certainly got no ESR to speak of. So let's pop it on our other capacitor checker. Now this is more accurate for the actual capacitance reading. That's actually reading, I don't know if you can see that, basically 800 picofarads. Should be 10 microfarads. So I think, am I right? 800 picofarads is 0.8 of a microfarad. I always get confused with that. Anyway, that proves that that capacitor was indeed absolutely shot. Let's go in and solder that one in now. So pop a little tiny bit of flux on there. Should have my extractor going again, 0 grams. cut the legs off. Get the legs. Don't leave these little legs lying around on the table either. That's a short circuit waiting to happen, that is. Don't think, is that the leg of one of those other capacitors? No, I'm just going to pop a bit of solder back on those other bits that I lifted. Bad looking joint there. That wire back on there before we forget where it went. And that one back on there. Okay, shall we put some power on it again then? See if that's made any difference. If it hasn't, then we'll have a go at Simon's suggestion of swamping the IF. Still no joy. I'm going to have to do that a little bit tighter. Let's have a go at see if we can get an IF signal through it then. So what I'll do to start with, I'll just get a little coil of wire, connect it up. Let's go with, I think 455 kilohertz is highly likely. That's what that's saying. Tuning cool. Tuning gain fully open. Wow, these plastic things, how can you tell whether it's fully open or fully closed? So what we'll do is put a strong signal into this area, and hopefully that'll generate a tone in the speaker. So let's adjust the level, let's go mental. dBm, let's put some modulation on it. Let's go 20 kilo, let's stop that. The buttons on this, as I was explaining in a email to Jack, or a message to Jack earlier, it's all over the shop, this meter. And I should be getting something there. 455, that's the... Nothing getting through at all there. I can't hear anything. Nope. Absolutely nothing. Anybody got any other ideas? So let's have a look. According to this, that's the only capacitor in the IF stage. I got a horrible feeling that the oscillator is the issue and that we're going to need to replace the 2SA 160. What's that, Simon? Is D okay? D? My Marconi's not okay. It's been a pain in the neck today. It's typical, isn't it? When you want it to work, it's yeah. Now it should be okay, Tony. D1. Yeah, that's the detector, Simon. Would that actually stop the oscillator working? We can certainly check D1. That's quite straightforward. Let's stick it on the component tester. D1. Well, I assume it's D1. See where the other side of it goes. Someone's saying about D1, which is a detector. If I can find where the connections are to it. Two really close together, could be there. Red and green leads shorted. Okay, so that's there. Difficult to actually get in here on this. This is the problem with these rackets, why they're so hard to work on. You have no gap. Ah, here we go. That's handy. They've looped it around. Okay, it is working, that diode. It's shown as a Zener diode on this because it's in circuit. I can check it with my meter on diode test as well, just to make sure. .3 that way, nothing that way. Yeah, that diode is working, Simon. 0.3 of a voltage drop on it, but it's connected in series. Like, yeah, it's connected with a capacitor there as well. I still reckon that we could have a problem with TR1, but really That one's not a quick fix, is it, at all? I wonder if my component checker will check that transistor in circuit. Let's have a go. So I'm going on TR1 with my transistor or component checker now. See what it makes of that one in circuit. Right, okay. It's saying no component detected. Which normally it would show as a diode at least. Let's say I can't see any signal, any proper signal on that transistor. Which is going to be a real pain because I don't actually know which way round that transistor is. So 2SA1 2SA160. So anybody can Google 2SA160 and tell me what's an equivalent? Simon, so what are we saying? The IF's not working, surely you can't tell if the local oscillator's running. I have in the past, Simon. I've put my scope on the RF section, and you can see the oscillator mixer. You can see the frequency changing as you tune. You can normally view that. I mean, again, hats off to Simon because he knows a damn sight more about these than I do. Yeah, I've tried the signal tracer jack. Absolutely dead as a dodo. So it's got to be something in the oscillator stage, and I am thinking it's that transistor. So that's going to be next, to get that transistor out and see if it is gone. I'll tell you what, it's really difficult on these to work out which pin goes where on the back of the board. So stretch the legs right out. So I've got one here, and then possibly one there. Right, solder sucker on. Yeah, happy for any suggestions, so fire in if you think you've got any ideas. But say, Jack, signal tracer's coming up no go. The diode is reading okay. We've now got a lead come off of there, which is great. It's not going to help matters. This lead back on. So you would all pick the most difficult radio, wouldn't you? Eh? Typical, isn't it? I should have chose myself, shouldn't I? Oh well. suppose we ought to double check a minute that that lead being off wasn't the issue. Which it certainly wasn't. Okay. We're getting somewhere, I think. We're getting somewhere, I think. So as far as I'm aware, there is no local oscillator running at the moment. So we need to get this transistor out and have a look. I need to do a little diagram of how it's laid out as well, because I use my phone as my camera and I haven't got that now, so there we go. So we've got a long one out there. And we've got 2 cams that way. Right, I should be able to work it back out from that. I mean, this might check out alright, but certainly in circuit it's shown as no component. So let's see if we can get this out then. Come on, soda sucker. That's one wire. That's the other one. That's 2 wires. The third one must be that one. There we go. Easy, innit? Okay. Should just pop out. So I just need to make sure that I get the orientation right on this. Come on, out you come, you want to go. Come on, here we go, there we are. Okay, so that's got the red dot on that one. So I assume that's a collector, but you never know. That's a yellow, that's a red. So, has all that been in vain? Is this actually working? This is one of those things with these radios. It's never, in my experience, it's never an exact science. You can be chasing all around the radio trying to find something that's somewhere totally obscure that's causing it not to work. So, is that transistor kaput? Yes, it is. I think it's shown as 2 diode junctions, so unless my meter is going bonkers, which, to be fair, this is a pretty good judge of yeah, it is the oscillator transistor, everybody. So that is that, really. We'll just have a quick look on the internet a minute. Has anyone else Googled that yet? 2SA 160? Let's have a go. You can't find an equivalent, Simon? 2SA 160. Let's go with transistor equivalents. Okay. Oh God, there's loads of them here. But have I got any? That's the question. How long have we been going for now? Nearly 2 hours. Anybody bored yet? But yeah, that transistor is definitely had it. That's the first oscillator transistor. So without that working, the radio's dead. 2N4106. What I need to do is get my list of components up here as well, which is on my Google Drive somewhere. Find my Google Drive. So I've tried to database my my components, which has sort of worked. So 2N4106, 2N4401. No, I ain't got one of those. 2S153. I don't think I've got any 2S's at all. No. Next. SA 153. I don't think I've got any 2SAs of mine. I've got 2SA 636. USB. Bear with me. No 2SBs. All I'm doing, this is alltransistors.com, which is a great little site. If you want an equivalent, you put in the transistor you've got and hit the cross-reference. It brings you up everything sort of round about the same area. So I'm just looking through. I've got no 2SBs. AF122. AF122. I've got an AF122. No, I haven't. XC. Any XCs? The XCs. No, unfortunately, I haven't got one of those. So I'm going to have to go online now and search through and see if I can get one. Again, with an oscillator transistor, it's not, you can't really just chuck any old thing in there. It's not like an IF where you can get something roughly the same and put it in. Let's get back to my chat, see what we're up to. Where did that beer come from? Came from England, Simon. In fact, there's no product placement, obviously, but it came from my kitchen in England. But it's hiding, Simon, in there. Look, it's actually Abba Ale. Anything from an R200 front end should do. Germanium PNP. R200 front end. Germanium PNP. Trouble is I've obviously got AFs, but that's no good. Germanium PNP. Well, I think that's pretty much done that one for the day now. I have got a big like toolbox out in the shed. I bought a job lot of stuff in a box, and that's got all sorts of weird and wonderful transistors in it that I haven't catalogued yet. So I might have an equivalent out there, but you know, it's still hammering down with rain here and blowing a gale, so I'm not going to be going out there today. But that is pretty much as far as we can go now with this one for today. I'm going to have to change these caps. I mean, that first one, not, 800 picofarads. Or was it nanofarads? I can't remember now. But absolutely shot. Totally shot, that one. So the likelihood is these like violet coloured ones, I could pretty much guarantee that 90% of them will have had it. So if anyone knows an equivalent of a 2SA 160 or 2SA 159, 160 probably, then let me know. If not, I think that's as far as we can go. Anyone got any questions at all? I know what you're saying, Simon. R200 front end germanium PNP, but I'm not going to just pop something in there for now. I'll wait till I've got an equivalent, I think. So that's going to be the next plan, is find a replacement for that one. And you can get them, because I had one of Tony's other radios that had an issue, and I managed to get hold of a transistor there that worked. So that's it for now. Let's just go back onto my view myself. I might have to have some more beer. Yeah, it's typical, isn't it, that you will pick the radio that can't be fixed now. But I definitely thought it was something to do with the oscillator there, being we could definitely hear a tone coming through the amplifier, so we know the amplifier stage is okay. I had no signals with a signal tracer around the IF stage, which I believe is here. I mean, it could be, I'm not sure on this one, this could be part of the audio circuit here. It's difficult to try and... Have I ever scored 180 at darts? Yes, I have, Sean. A fair few times, but not much recently. I have in practice, and I scored 180 in a competition. But how are you getting on with the Bush 1960s radio, Andrew? Yeah, not a chance to be on that one. As I say, I had nearly a month off with a bad back, and I've been back to work, doing my photography job this week, and been absolutely flat out. So not been able to do a lot to that at the moment. Let's zoom back out a bit if I can. No, that's the wrong way. There we go. Oh, hello. It's difficult trying to do this one-handed. So you may or may not be able to see me now, but I don't worry too much about that. That's pretty scary stuff. Yeah, so Andrew, that Volvo radio is still down here, mate. The old Bush MB60 showed last week. Still waiting to be done. But one update on that, actually, while you mention it, is one of my patrons, actually. One of my patrons, Tim, sent me this, which is basically the mains power lead that fits in the back of the radio here. And he sent it to me because he said he had one that was in ropey condition, and maybe I could do something with it. Well, it's brilliant to have this, because I did have a mint one with the radio that I sold. But my idea is to 3D print all of this. So I think I can possibly do it in two parts. I'm thinking possibly to do this front piece and that beveled piece, and have this as possibly a cover that can be glued or welded onwards. It's not something that I'm going to be able to sell on, because it's not going to be mains certified. you know, I've got no electrical qualifications to pat test anything, but certainly for my own use, it might be a useful bit of kit to have. The only thing I'm concerned about is what to make the brass pins out of in the middle. So that's another ongoing project. I've got to draw that in my 3D CAD program, and then somehow design it to come apart so as I can fix everything together. It won't have this thin cable on it. It'll just have a normal 2-core mains cable on it. But yeah, I've got to try and do something with that. It's great of Tim to send me that. Brilliant stuff. No worries, Andrew. But yeah, I will do a video on that. But say at the moment I am pretty backed up with videos. It's one of the reasons why I'm doing the live stream, so I can catch up with everybody like in real time. The R707, as I say, that one was last year. Some of the stuff I'm putting out there is more recent. The Yaesu transceiver, that was quite recent. That was a fairly easy fix, apart from the power cable, which was not. Am I getting into Volve radios now? Well, Volves is like, I don't know what you call it. It's like black magic to me. I just can't get to grips with Volves, really. This little light bulb thing that makes the radio work. What's all that about? But I have got some Volve radios. I showed one last week that I repaired. In fact, I've got quite a lot of Volve radios, but I've got to give priority to the repairs I've got in. I just like doing bits and pieces on a Sunday, as I said last week. I'll have a play with my own stuff, or just do something for a bit of fun rather than it being a task, really. Because I do love radios. I've got my own collection of radios. I've got a massive collection. Some I bought in for selling on, but the majority are probably ones that I won't get rid of. Anyone else then? Any more before I cut you loose? If I can cut loose, I don't know. As I say, any thoughts on the Patreon thing or PayPal, or I don't know. As I say, it doesn't seem to have taken off really, the Patreon. Some people do really well out of it. I'm not looking to make a living out of it, to be honest. I'm just looking to cover some of my costs if I can. Certainly not making a living off of YouTube. But that's good fun to share what I'm doing. I enjoy sharing it. I have got my own personal PayPal address, Sean, but it's got like my whole name in it. So what I probably will do with PayPal is just have a Radiocruncher PayPal that I can post in the comments if anyone did want to donate anything. It's one of those things, you know, I do have a lot of people that support it. Thanks, Andrew. Yeah, I did get a nice radio, as I say, in last week out of the Facebook Marketplace. And again, Radiocruncher is on Facebook. So if you type in Radiocruncher and search on Facebook, you'll see my Facebook page. And I do tend to pop bits and pieces that I'm doing in there from time to time. So you'll get a snippet of what I'm up to. Cheers, Sean. I'll let you know. I'll put one together, because I know people have said that Patreon can be quite difficult to sign on to and register with. I know it is. People have persevered and done it, and I appreciate all the people that are patrons. So thank you very much for your ongoing support. So really, I think that's pretty much it. I say I've got darts tonight. It's only 3:30, so I've got time to eat my tea first. See how the mini run went. See if my missus managed to video it okay in the rain. So again, thanks to everybody that's joined me. I mean, there's still 19 of you watching now, which is great. Thanks, Rob. Enjoyed having you on board, mate. And I will read your video. Dan, welcome, Dan. Part 2 of the Yaesu. Yeah, it's only a little tiny. It's only about that big, the radio, but it's a real lump. It's solid cast aluminium, really well made. Yeah, part 2, you'll see what a state the power cord was in. Hell of a mess. Hell of a mess. So I say that's what's killed this today. I think we've spent long enough now anyway. Been on 2 hours, so YouTube will probably be kicking me off soon, saying I've had too much of their bandwidth or airtime. So I'm going to call it a day there. Any final questions? Any final questions or final chat before I shoot? Nope. There's a bit of a lag on the chat, so apologies if you put something in just before I close and I don't see it. So I'm probably going to do this every Sunday. I'm not sure next Sunday because the missus is off to a hen night all next weekend, and she's coming back on Sunday, so I'm not sure what time she'll be back. But I think probably the afternoon is a good time. It lets everybody from all over the globe, really. I know Australia, sorry about that, it's a bit late for you. 1:30 is 10:30 over there, so or down there. But you know, I can buy a BT remote for my phone. BT remote for my phone. Can you have wine next week rather than beer? You could do, Sean, but I think I've drunk it all. It's gone. I have no wine left in the house, none in the building. I've got a cider waiting over there just in case. Cheers, Andrew. Thank you for joining me as well, mate. I'm glad you appreciate it. And say, check out my Facebook page. I don't really promote that on here at all, but those of you that do know me will know that I've got a Facebook page. I don't know what it is. It's obviously Radiocruncher. So just pop that in your Facebook search engine. It should bring me up. So thanks for now. Thumbs up to everybody. Really, really enjoyed it. Shame we couldn't get this one going, but I don't think it's far off. We'll swap this transistor out, get rid of all these orbital load caps, and obviously I will do a video of this separately anyway. Tony, if you're still watching, you can see what's involved in these now. They're not easy to work on. They're a bit cramped. This one's better than some, actually. That little tiny Philco is going to be a bit of a nightmare. This one's nicely laid out. Cheers, Tony. Cheers, mate. Thanks, Mike, Racing Demon. I didn't see you in there, mate. But thanks for joining me. You will be able to see it. Obviously, when it finishes uploading, I think you can actually rewind it live. I don't know. There's still a bit of a mystery to me, this live streaming, but I do need to get a camera connected up via Wi-Fi or something to the main computer so I can do it a bit more professionally. I hope you've enjoyed that. If you did, give me a thumbs up. You can leave comments. If there's any questions that you've got, if you go back through it, then let me know. And I'll also see if I can get that mini video out as well. So bye for now, and catch you hopefully next weekend, Saturday or Sunday, not sure yet. But bye for now. See if I can turn this thing off.